Question 215. Which AWS tool will allow you to learn about the availability of AWS services and also provide the overall status of AWS services? And the options are A. AWS Personal Health Dashboard, B. AWS Service Health Dashboard, C. Amazon CloudWatch, D. AWS Control Tower. And the correct answer is option B. AWS Service Health Dashboard. Explanation. The AWS Health Dashboard is the single place to learn about the availability and operations of AWS services. You can view the overall status of AWS services, and you can sign in to view personalized communications about your particular AWS account or organization. Your account view provides deeper visibility into resource issues, upcoming changes, and important notifications. Option A is incorrect because AWS Personal Health Dashboard provides alerts and remediation guidance when AWS experiences events that may impact you. Option C is incorrect because Amazon CloudWatch is a monitoring and observability service built for DevOps engineers, developers, site reliability engineers, and IT managers. Option D is incorrect, as AWS Control Tower is the easiest way to set up and govern a new secure multi-account AWS environment. Next question. An engineering firm is configuring a large number of servers across multiple subnets in an Amazon VPC. What is the default limit for root tables in a VPC? And the options are A. 100, B. 200, C. 20, D. 50. And the correct answer is option B. 200. Explanation. 200 root tables are supported per VPC. This is a soft limit and can be adjusted as per customer needs. Each of these root tables supports 50 non-propagated routes and 100 BGP advertised propagated routes. All other options are incorrect, as each Amazon VPC supports 200 root tables. Next question. In order to protect sensitive patient data, an industry regulatory body requires insurance companies to fully control cryptographic key management locally, given that all their workloads are in the cloud. How can the organization achieve this? And the options are A. AWS Key Management Service, B. AWS Certificate Manager, C. AWS Cloud HSM, D. Server-side encryption. And the correct answer is option C. AWS Cloud HSM. Explanation. AWS Cloud HSM allows the administrator to have full and exclusive control over the generation and management of cryptographic keys on actual hardware security modules that are physically stored in AWS data centers. Option A is incorrect because AWS Key Management Service is a fully managed AWS service. This makes the service an intelligible option since the prerequisite of the use case is for the company to retain full control and administration of the keys. Option B is incorrect because AWS Certificate Manager is primarily for issuing verified security certificates for SSL or HTTPS on AWS resources such as Elastic Load Balancer or Web Application Firewall. Option D is incorrect because server-side encryption is typically encryption of objects or data within the bucket in Amazon S3. The data is encrypted at the object level as it is saved on AWS storage infrastructure and then decrypted when it is accessed. Next question. Which step is required when creating a key pair for connecting to an Amazon EC2 instance? And the options are A. Import a public key created by a third-party tool to an Amazon EC2 instance. B. Import a private key created by using Amazon EC2 console to an Amazon EC2 instance. C. Import a public key created by using Amazon EC2 console to an Amazon EC2 instance. D. Import a private key created by a third-party tool to an Amazon EC2 instance. And the correct answer is option A. Import a public key created by a third-party tool to an Amazon EC2 instance. Explanation. A key pair is a set of public and private keys, which are security credentials used to connect to Amazon EC2 instances. Following are the ways to create key pair for connecting to an Amazon EC2 instances. Number 1. Create a key pair using Amazon EC2 instance. Key pairs can be created using console, AWS CLI, or PowerShell. Public key is stored in Amazon EC2 instance. Customers need to download and save private keys securely, which will be used to connect to Amazon EC2 instances. Number 2. Create a key pair using third-party tools. Key pairs can be generated using third-party tools. Private keys generated by this tool need to be stored securely, while public keys need to be imported in Amazon EC2 instances using Console, AWS CLI, or PowerShell. Option B is incorrect, as there is no need to import private keys into Amazon EC2 instances. Amazon EC2 instance stores public key. Private key needs to be securely stored by the customer. Option C is incorrect, as when a key is generated using an Amazon EC2 instance, no need to import the public key into Amazon EC2 instance. It will be automatically applied. Option D is incorrect, as there is no need to import private keys into Amazon EC2 instances. Amazon EC2 instance stores only public key. Private key needs to be securely stored by the customer. Next question. A company with multiple AWS environments would like to centrally manage and govern their AWS environments, resources, and users without affecting their budgets. What is the best approach? And the options are: A. Create multiple unique IAM users with administrator access for each functional group of the company. B. Use of AWS CloudFormation template versions and revision controls to keep track of the dynamic configuration changes. C. Use AWS organizations with respective OUs that differentiate billing across the company's AWS account. D. Provisioning resources and computing capacity for future growth. And the correct answer is option C. Use AWS organizations with respective OUs that differentiate billing across the company's AWS account. Explanation. AWS organizations helps you centrally manage and govern your environment as you grow and scale your AWS resources. Using AWS organizations, you can programmatically create new AWS accounts and allocate resources, group accounts to organize your workflows, apply policies to accounts or groups for governance, and simplify billing by using a single payment method for all of your accounts. AWS organization provides composite billing into a single account. Option A is incorrect, because creating multiple IAM users with administrator privileges is not a best practice. Roles and permissions should be assigned on a least privilege basis. Option B is incorrect, because CloudFormation is a tool to automate provisioning and updating your infrastructure. It cannot help with governance. Option D is incorrect, because provisioning of resources and compute capacity that accommodates future growth means that there is a capacity that is idle in anticipation of long-term growth. According to the AWS well-architected framework reliability pillar, this is not cost-effective. The company should only pay for what is being used. Next question. Which of the following disaster recovery options requires minimal resources and capacity to handle requests in a secondary region? And the options are: A. Pilot Light, B. Multi-site, C. Backup and restore, D. Warm standby. And the correct answer is option D. Warm standby. Explanation. The warm standby approach involves ensuring that there is a scaled down but fully functional copy of your production environment in another region. This approach extends the pilot light concept and decreases the time to recovery because your workload is always on in another region. This approach also allows you to more easily perform testing or implement continuous testing to increase confidence in your ability to recover from a disaster. Option A is incorrect, as with the pilot light option, infrastructure at the DR site is in shutdown mode. Once disaster happens at a primary site, infrastructure at DR location needs to be started and scaled up to meet the requirement of primary location. Option B is incorrect, as with multi-site active option, infrastructure at DR location need to be scaled up post-disaster at the primary location. With the multi-site active option, full workload runs simultaneously at both primary and DR location. Option C is incorrect, as with backup and restore, infrastructure at DR location needs to be set up post-disaster at primary location. Next question. Which of the following tools can be used to check service limits for resources launched with an AWS cloud infrastructure? And the options are: A. AWS Config, B. AWS Trusted Advisor, C. Amazon CloudWatch, D. AWS CloudTrail. And the correct answer is option B. AWS Trusted Advisor. Explanation. AWS Trusted Advisor checks for service uses for all the resources within AWS Cloud and provides notifications. Option A is incorrect, as AWS Config can be used to audit, evaluate configuration of AWS resources, but it does not check service limits for resources. Option C is incorrect, as Amazon CloudWatch monitors AWS resources and applications on these resources, but it does not check service limits for resources. Option D is incorrect, as AWS CloudTrail is a logging service recording activity made to AWS resources, but it does not check service limits for resources. Next question. A retail e-commerce company plans to use Oracle SQL database for its new application that will be hosted on AWS Cloud. For full control of the transactional database and access to the operating system level of resources, which of the following is the preferred option? And the options are: A. Run database using Amazon DynamoDB, B. Run database using Amazon EC2, C. Run database using Amazon RDS, D. Run database using Amazon Aurora. And the correct answer is option B. Run database using Amazon EC2. Explanation. Oracle SQL database can be installed on Amazon EC2 instance for full control of the database. It provides users full access to the operating system level of the resources. Amazon EC2 instances can also be used in case Oracle database versions or features are not supported by Amazon RDS. Option A is incorrect, as Amazon DynamoDB is suitable for NoSQL database and not for Oracle SQL database. Option C is incorrect, as running a database using Amazon RDS will not provide full access to the database. With Amazon RDS, users do not get access to operating systems of the DB instance. Amazon RDS is a managed solution for highly scalable, highly available, secure database in AWS Cloud. With the database running on an Amazon EC2 instance, the customer is responsible for managing the instance, which includes routine patching and maintenance work. Customers also have to manage backups, scalability, and redundancy of the databases. With Amazon RDS, the underlying DB instance is managed by AWS. Option D is incorrect, as Amazon Aurora is a relational database which is compatible with MySQL and PostgreSQL. It is not compatible with Oracle SQL databases. Next question. AWS well-architected framework recommends centralizing the management of all account access from a security perspective. What helps you to configure services and resources centrally? And the options are: A. AWS SCP, B. AWS Organizations, C. AWS Inspector, D. All of the above. And the correct answer is option B. AWS Organizations. Explanation. AWS Organizations helps configure policies related to different services centrally. Also known as service control policies, they can be defined for your entire organizations. As an example, if you have configured a central logging of all API calls using CloudTrail, member accounts cannot override that policy using IAM policies. Option A is incorrect. Service control policies are a type of organization policy that you can use to manage permissions in your organization. SCPs are part of the organization, otherwise SCPs alone cannot manage AWS accounts. Option C is incorrect. AWS Inspector automates DevSecOps in the cloud by detecting security vulnerabilities in EC2 workloads. Option D is incorrect. Only AWS organizations have the ability to provide a central management of all my AWS accounts. Next question. A company manages Hadoop-based system on-premise. They are planning to migrate those systems to AWS. Which AWS service can they leverage for the migration? And the options are: A. Amazon EMR, B. Amazon Redshift, C. Amazon Poly, D. AWS Glue. And the correct answer is option A. Amazon EMR. Explanation. Amazon EMR, previously called Amazon Elastic MapReduce, is a managed cluster platform that simplifies running big data frameworks such as Apache Hadoop and Apache Spark on AWS to process and analyze vast amounts of data. Option B is incorrect. Amazon Redshift is a fully managed petabyte scale data warehouse service in the cloud. Option C is incorrect. Amazon Polly is a cloud service by Amazon Web Services, a subsidiary of Amazon.com, that converts text into spoken audio. It allows developers to create speech-enabled applications and products. Option D is incorrect. AWS Glue is a fully managed ETL, extract, transform, and load service that makes it simple and cost-effective to categorize your data, clean it, enrich it, and move it reliably between various data stores and data streams. Next question. A small business is looking for a virtual private server solution to host their business website. They want to launch the project quickly and lowest-friendly method. Which AWS solution can they consider? And the options are: A. Use AWS Marketplace to install a ready-made WordPress AMI. B. Use AWS Lightsail. C. Use a pre-configured customizable Apache web server on an Amazon EC2 instance. D. Download a pre-configured website on an EC2 instance from a third-party website generator. And the correct answer is option B. Use AWS Lightsail. Explanation. AWS Lightsail is an inexpensive, easy-to-use, novice-friendly and interactive platform to configure and launch web applications or websites quickly. AWS Lightsail is best to utilize for simple workloads and has fast start-to-end deployment. It is built to assist users who have little or no experience with web application design. It also allows users to implement small deployments that are easily disposable or easily scaled with the use case. Option A is incorrect because using AWS Marketplace to install a ready-made WordPress AMI onto an EC2 instance is feasible but not the most novice-friendly method. Option C is incorrect because using a pre-configured customizable Apache web server on an Amazon EC2 instance is feasible but requires the user to have a fair knowledge of Apache. The question requires a novice-friendly option. Option D is incorrect because downloading a pre-configured website on an EC2 instance from a third-party website generator is feasible but not the most novice-friendly method. Next question. Which of the following best describes a typical use case for AWS CodePipeline? And the options are: A. To compose code in an integrated development environment that enables developers to run, test, and debug components of a dynamic microservice. B. To compile and deploy a microservice onto Amazon EC2 instances or AWS Lambda functions. C. To securely share code, collaborate on source code, version control, and store binaries on an AWS fully managed platform that scales seamlessly. D. To orchestrate and automate the various phases involved in the release of application updates in line with a predefined release model. And the correct answer is option D. To orchestrate and automate the various phases involved in the release of application updates in line with a predefined release model. Explanation. The question is looking for a typical use case for AWS CodePipeline. Option D is the most appropriate because AWS CodePipeline is typically utilized when orchestrating and automating the various phases involved in the release of application updates in line with the release model that the developer defines. Option A is incorrect because composing code in an integrated development environment that enables developers to run, test, and debug components of a dynamic microservice is the typical AWS Cloud9 IDE function. Option B is incorrect because compiling and deploying microservices on Amazon EC2 instances or AWS Lambda functions are the typical functions of AWS Code Deploy. Option C is incorrect because securely sharing code, collaborating on source code, version control, and storing binaries on an AWS fully managed platform describe the function of code commit. Next question. Which of the following support plans provide monitoring of the environment by the designated Technical Account Manager (TAM)? And the options are: A. Developer, B. Business, C. Enterprise on-ramp, D. Enterprise. And the correct answer is option D. Enterprise. Explanation. Only the Enterprise support plan provides monitoring of the environment by the designated technical account manager. Thank you for watching this video. Buy our AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner CLF-C01 premium questions with 50% off. Check link in the description.